Chapter 10. Morph, Jake! Morph now! Tobias had set me down on the roof of a Boston Market restaurant. It was the closest safe place he could find. I was lying helpless on tar paper and gravel. My legs were twitching. My antenna waved insanely. I was twitching and jerking and losing all control over my roach body. But the human me understood what was going on. I was dying. I had watched roaches die from poisoning. I had stood over them and thought, ha, serves you right. Now it was me. Now it was my body that was failing. I was the one suffocating and jerking. Jake, you have to morph out of this. Do it. Concentrate. I knew he was right. It was the only way to stay alive. But it was so hard to focus when I was trapped inside a dying body. I tried to picture myself human. I tried to form a mental image of myself. But that picture was all mixed up with dolphins and birds and tigers and the dream. I was in it now, as the delirium swept over me, in the dream. I was the tiger, moving with perfect silence, each muscle like liquid steel, each movement controlled, calculated. I could smell my prey. I could hear his clumsy human movements in the dark forest. He was slow. He was weak. He could not escape me. I would destroy him. I would bring down my prey. My prey. Tom. I saw him turn to look at me. I saw fear in his eyes. Fear of me. I settled back on my haunches, preparing for the final lunge. The killing lunge that would end with my teeth sinking into his neck, my jaws crushing his spine. He looked at me and held up his hands. No! I leapt, uncoiling unbelievable power. I leapt, a huge, unstoppable hunter. I roared, a thunderous cry of triumph that could be heard for miles. And then I saw the tiger, saw myself, saw orange-striped fur and ruthless yellow eyes, and saber teeth and claws that could rip open a buffalo, hurtling towards me. Tom had become the tiger, and I was his prey. I closed my eyes, and when I opened them again, I saw, right above me, fierce eyes staring down from just a few inches away, the eyes of a hawk. Are you okay? Tobias asked. I raised my hand to look at it. Fingers, 5 of them. I don't know, am I okay? You seem to have all your major limbs and so on, Tobias said. But it was a weird morph. You got poisoned pretty badly, I think. You seemed to be unconscious while you morphed. I'm alive, I said, feeling a little surprised. But of course, the amount of poison that had almost killed me when I was a roach was nothing to me as a human. Where are we? On the roof of a fast food restaurant? You saved my butt, Tobias. No problem. I am your own personal Air Force, dude. Just call in the air support anytime you need. I sat up. How are the others? Worried about you? I checked up on them while you were coming out of Morph. They're scattered around, but okay. Everyone morphed back. Axe is already human morph again. Cassie has him with her. I guess I should get down from here, I said. Yeah, Tobias agreed. So, Marco told me what you found out. This is major. Definitely major, I agreed. I stood up and began to look around for a way to escape the roof. I was too tired and rattled to morph again. Marco says Visor 3 was there, in a human morph. The guy who showed up in the limo, right? Yeah, I guess so. I mean, roach eyes are pretty lame. I can only go by what I heard. I saw him leave right after I lifted you out of there, Tobias said. I stopped looking for a ladder to the ground. Tobias was being too talkative, too persistent. Tobias, what is it? What are you trying to get around telling me? When Visor 3 left, Tom was with him. My first reaction was relief. Visor 3 had ordered someone executed in that meeting, and it had not been Tom. How did they look together, Visor 3 and Tom? Tom was the only one from the meeting who went with Visor 3, aside from his guards. Tom was acting sort of careful around Visor 3. He looked like he was pretty cocky around the guards. It's hard to say, Jake, but if I had to guess, I'd say Tom and Visor 3 are tight. Yeah, I said. I have a feeling maybe Tom is kind of responsible for a big part of this hospital plan. I stood up and thought for a second. What will Visitor 3 do to Tom if his great plan is destroyed? Tobias said nothing. He knew the answer. Those who fail Visitor 3 die. Chapter 11. I saw the lane open up between Juan and Terry, a clear lane to the basket. Thunk, thunk, thunk. My right hand dribbled the ball. I struck my left arm out, ready to ward off Juan in case he came after me. I powered ahead. Sneakers squeaked on the polished wood floor of the gym. One of the guys on my team yelled, "Go, Jake!" Juan saw my move and came after me, but I was a little too fast. Thunk, thunk, thunk. Stop. Pivot my back to Juan. Lock onto the basket. Focus. Focus. I jumped and arced the ball toward the hoop. I hit the backboard. It hit the rim. It bounced away. No score. I fell back against Juan and Terry. The three of us ended up in a tangle on the gym floor, arms and legs everywhere. The ball rolled out of bounds. No wonder you never made the team, Terry said, laughing as he helped pull me to my feet. I tried out for the team, but I didn't make the cut. At the time, it had bothered me, mostly because Tom had been a big basketball hero when he was at our school. I wanted to live up to that. Now, I realized I didn't have time for after-school sports anyway, and playing during gym class was enough basketball. Yeah? Well, I beat Juan with some of my excellent moves, and he is on the team, I said. I reached back to help pull Juan up. Although, I can't figure out why they would want some guy who looks like he's made out of straws. I'm just saving my best stuff for the finals, Juan said. I don't want to waste my secret killer moves on you, Jake. And now you practically crushed my legs, you big ox. Man, you ought to be playing football. Good idea, I grinned at Juan. He was about 5'11" and weighs like 10 pounds. Let me practice by tackling in you. Just then the coach whistled, which was the signal to hit the showers. Stay by the whistle, Juan, I said. You should have inherited some of Tom's moves, Terry said. That brother of yours has a jump shot. Man, Tom could have been in college ball easy. At a good school, too. If he would have just stuck with it, Juan chimed in. That boy has the gift. They were right. Tom did have the gift. But he had dropped out of basketball. The Yerk who controlled him had other plans, I guess. I showered and got dressed for my next class. Marco was waiting out in the hallway. He had gym next period. B-ball today? He asked. Cool. I thought it was going to be more wrestling. I hate wrestling. Getting up close and personal with sweaty guys. Not my idea of a good time. The ancient Greeks used to wrestle with no clothes, I pointed out. Just be glad this isn't Greece. And no deodorant, Marco agreed. It's going to be next Tuesday. What's going to be next Tuesday? Marco looked over my shoulder and then, very casually, around the hallway to make sure no one was close enough to overhear. The governor. That's when he's going to the hospital. I bet you $100 it's for hemorrhoids. He grinned. That's why it's kind of a secret. No one is supposed to know. So how do you know? Well, we know from the meeting the other night that he's going, right? So all I had to do was find out what his schedule is going to be. Turns out it's no problem. I told them I was a reporter and they faxed me a copy. Marco pulled a folded piece of paper from his pocket and opened it for me to see. See? Saturday he gives a speech. Sunday he goes on TV on a TV interview show. Monday he gives another speech. Tuesday, suddenly on Tuesdays, he begins a 5-day vacation. And they don't say where he's going. Why would he keep it a secret, I wonder? Oh, please. If it is hemorrhoids, a politician getting his hemorrhoids operated on, the jokes are just too easy. Letterman would be talking about it in his monologue. I smiled. Yeah, okay. Good work. Tomorrow's Saturday, Marco said. Should we do it then? I guess the expression on my face showed how I felt. Marco cocked his head and looked sideways at me. You okay, man? You had a close call last night. I've been there, so I know it isn't easy to just get past it. No, I'm cool, I said. I gave him a push. Besides, since when are you all psyched to go? Marco had always been the most reluctant member of the group. You know since when, he said softly. I nodded. Marco was no longer reluctant to fight the Yeerks. It had become a very personal battle for him. Yeah, sorry. As far as the others are concerned, I'm still the same old Marco, he said. I don't want them thinking anything is different. I don't want them feeling sorry for me. Now, Marco, how is anyone ever going to feel sorry for you? You're so totally obnoxious. And I plan to stay that way. The bell rang, signaling the next class. Okay, I said. Tomorrow. We'll need to think of some way to get inside that hospital. They'll really be on the lookout now. Actually, Cassie already suggested something to me, Marco said. I rolled my eyes. Oh man, you know I like Cassie, but this is the girl who suggested we try an Animorph. Marco started to head into the gym. I headed toward class. No ants, he said over his shoulder. I don't even want to know. Think dog poop. What? I demanded, but by then he was already through the door and gone. Chapter 12. Something nice, but for $15 or less, I said. My dad's birthday is in 2 months, so I have to spend my money pretty thin. It was after school. We had headed to the mall, me and Cassie and Rachel. My mom's birthday was coming up. I had about $15 to buy her something, and the last time I'd bought her a present, it hadn't turned all that well. Who would ever guess that she wouldn't appreciate a classic Spider-Man number 3 in almost mint condition? Okay, so I was a year younger then. Plus, I had asked Marco to help me find something. This time I asked Cassie if she would help me shop. Which was almost as dumb, since Cassie isn't really into clothing and cute little stuff. So Cassie had asked Rachel to help. How about that store? I pointed at one of the ones that had women's clothing. Yeah, right. Good choice. As long as you've had at least $100 to spend. Okay, how about... Cassie began. Cassie, think about it, Rachel said, looking slightly perturbed by her stupidity. Look at the name of the store. It might as well scream, Fat Middle-Aged Ladies. Jake, do you want to tell your mom that you think she's fat? No, I shook my head vigorously, but then I thought it might be a trick question. I mean, I don't. Do I? Rachel rolled her eyes. No, you don't. Duh. Have you two ever shopped for anything? I feel like I'm dealing with Axe here. I mean, are you two from this planet? We're looking for something on sale. Something that says, Mom, I still think of you as being young and cool. Something classic. Understated. Most likely, we're talking a department store. She pointed. That department store. 2nd floor. Towards the front, on the right. That's where we want to be. Look for sale signs. They'll be red with black letters. Cassie grinned at me. See? Rachel owns this mall. Shopping and kicking butt. Rachel's specialities, I said affectionately. We cruised the department store, and in about 10 minutes, Rachel had found a silk blouse. It was $33 originally, Rachel crowed. $33, marked down to $25. Then, a 30% discount for this one-day sale. We got it for $17.50. Do you realize that's almost half off the original price? $17.50 for that blouse. Yes, she shops, she scores. Yeah, but I was only going to spend $15, I said meekly. You didn't spend too much. Don't you know anything? You saved $15.50. You came out ahead by more than $15. Wait a minute. How did I save if I spent? Cassie put her hand on my arm. No, don't ask. Rachel uses a whole twist in math involved in shopping. Don't even try to understand it. Rachel ignored Cassie's teasing. Hey, while you pay, I have to go check something in Junior's. Meet you at the food court. Rachel peeled off, leaving me and Cassie alone in the racks of clothing. So when are you going to tell me your idea? I asked. I thought Marco already told you. I shook my head. Nope, he just said, think dog poop. I did. I got a very bad feeling as a result. Cassie looked a little pouty. Look, it's the only animal I can think of that can get in and out of a hospital without being stepped on or poisoned. We wouldn't even be seen, probably. I mean, they go everywhere. Who even notices them? Cassie, so far I have done 3 insects. Flea, that was okay. Ant, that was definitely not okay. And roach. I'm starting to feel jealous of Tobias. I mean, he's stuck as a hawk, but at least he doesn't have to go around turning into bugs. Do you have a better idea, Jake? Because I respect your feelings. I was just trying to help. It's just a suggestion. I drew a deep breath. No. I don't have any great suggestions. It's just whatever happened to the good old days when we would just be tigers or wolves or something fun. I don't want to be a fly. I saw that movie, The Fly. Both versions. The old one and the new one with Jeff Goldblum. I mean, a fly. A fly. The movie. I forgot that movie, Cassie said. She made a face. The one where the guy has a tiny little human head stuck in a fly body and he's trapped in a spider web and he's going, "Help me," in this tiny little voice. And that guy is so grossed out he just crushes him. We both just stood there looking kind of sick. Moths? Cassie suggested. Too slow, I said, and too big. They would spot us. Okay, bees? No way. No social insects ever again. Bees could be as bad as ants that way. No social insects. No hives, no colonies. I shuddered at the memory of the ant morph. It had been like dying. The ant had no individual self. It was just a part of a bigger machine. Flies aren't social, Cassie said. Can I help you? A saleswoman asked. No, Cassie said. Thanks anyway. We started walking, heading towards the food court to hook up with Rachel. It would just be to go into the hospital, I said, thinking out loud. If they are using the hospital to transfer Yerks into hosts, it will mean they have some kind of Yerk pool in there. That's what we're after. Find that Yerk pool, wipe it out. So, we would just be in Flymore for a brief time, Cassie said. I mean, if we decided to do it. We'd have to demorph to do any damage. And then, if we create enough confusion, we can escape some other way. We wouldn't have to do flies again. True, Cassie agreed. We'd probably only be in Flymore for a few minutes. Yep. So it's flies, Cassie said. Yep. Then both of us, at the same time, said, Help me! Help me! Chapter 13. Here's the thing about flies. Being a fly is fun. It really is. Turning into a fly, that's a whole different story. I guess it's no big secret that I kind of like Cassie. I think she's really pretty. But when I saw those 2 huge, glittering, bulging, compound eyes come popping out of her eye sockets, I screamed. I screamed like a baby. Yeah! Great. Jake, that's gonna make her feel good, Marco said. Marco, you have your eyes closed, I pointed out. And they're staying closed, too. Excuse me, Rachel said. She raced for the door of the barn and ran outside. A few seconds later, we heard the sound of barfing. You have to understand, Cassie was mostly still human at that point, where the fly eyes showed up. She was about 2 feet tall and shrinking fast, and the extra legs had already popped out of her chest. And the gauzy wings were growing up from her back. But her face was still a human face, until the eyes popped out. Oh man. You think you've seen scary stuff? Maybe in the movies or on TV? You haven't seen anything scary until you've seen fly eyes pop out of someone's head like a pair of balloons. She was pretty small by the time her fly mouth appeared. I was grateful for that, because later, when I became a fly, I saw what a fly mouth looks like. The eyes were bad, but if I'd seen that long, tubular, sucking, tongue-like thing come rolling out,